Chapter 2. The Meeting. The morning showed a beautiful sight of the city, and the sun was shining bright. Isabel opened her eyes and was laying in bed. She felt rested and hungry, and went to the kitchen to get some food. I had the strangest dream ever, Isabel said to her mom that was seated having some coffee already. She looked tired, though. I was floating and flying over the earth and felt as if I could actually keep flying out in the universe. I was powerful and fearless and wanted to go somewhere important out there, she continued. I just don't know where exactly, but I had a feeling I wanted to go somewhere, she added. Interesting dream, honey, Claire said. What else did you dream about? She asked. Not very sure, but there were people there. You and Dad and some others. I'm not sure. It was all blurry, Isabel said. Connie, that smells delicious. I'm starving, she added, excited with Connie's food. Connie worked in the domestic chores of the house and had been living with them since Isabel was born. She was making pancakes with fried zucchini, Isabel's favorite breakfast. She got her plate with one pancake and 4 pieces of fried zucchini and started to eat desperately. Why are you two looking so tired? Another sleepless night watching movies? Isabel asked, looking at her parents' evident tired faces. Yes, darling, another sleepless night, Adrian said, looking at Connie, who glanced at them after their response. Guys, you always do that, Isabel said and kept eating her breakfast. You need to get some rest, she added. Isabel felt they were all staring at her, but she preferred to ignore them and kept eating her lovely meal. Adrian and Claire looked at Isabel, then looked at each other, acknowledging she didn't remember anything from the recent events. Victoria phoned Isabel to invite her to do some shopping together. There was an important black tie party organized by the charity Isabel and Victoria's parents belonged to. Victoria needed help finding the perfect dress for it, and she wanted to get Isabel out of the house for some fresh air. Claire talked to Victoria hours before and explained about the events in Sikkim, and Isabel's decision to give her memories and experiences out to Kronos in order to save Zagreus. Victoria heard every detail and agreed not to mention anything to Isabel, and to be as discreet as possible. Victoria and Isabel arranged to meet in a famous local department store. They invited their mutual friend Brandon, a gay guy who happened to enjoy going shopping and serving as a style advisor for Victoria. He and his family were also attending the event. I have heard you spent 2 days sleeping straight after our party. I have told you not to drink alcohol, Brandon said to Isabel in a funny tone. You know I don't drink. I think I have been so tired lately that the idea of me sleeping that much sounded like a good reward after all these years, Isabel replied. University will be even harder, my dear. Just enjoy your beauty sleep because you will need it to reduce the wrinkles that will come after so many hours of studying, Brandon said. Doctors used to get older faster, he added. Are you insane? I will not get old soon, Victoria exclaimed, mortified. Even if I need hundreds of surgeries, she added. Of course, sweetie, Brandon joked. They were chatting about the party and the way everybody behaved, even during the events of the storm and earthquake that curiously Isabel didn't remember that much. Everybody was talking about the storm. Even the guy helping them to look for the perfect matching shoes was talking about it. Isabel wondered how come she wasn't remembering much about that important event. She thought, how much did I drink that night? By the way, did you all see the storm that night? I actually felt the earthquake too. A storm like that in London is very unusual, Brandon said. Yes, the storm, the earthquake, and the crazy people, Isabel said, doubting. Victoria realized Isabel was feeling uncomfortable. She seemed to be having a hard time remembering the events. She decided to intervene. It was an exciting night besides the other events, and I'm sure Isabel enjoyed so much that she simply decided to go home and rest. Victoria said, winking her eye to Isabel. She felt relieved that Victoria intervened to make her feel better. Anyway, that's what I call living in the clouds, Brandon said. There was a huge storm and the winds were really fast. The interesting thing is that it wasn't expected according to the weather center. It was sudden and a very minor earthquake was also felt during the storm. Very unusual indeed. Scientists are trying to understand what happened here, he added. What did I drink that night? Isabel asked, intrigued. Did you give me any of your crazy poisonous drinks? She added. It will come to you eventually, Victoria said, looking directly into her eyes. Isabel felt Victoria knew something she wasn't saying. Well, whatever happened, we are fine now, Isabel said. And because of that, I am going to get ice cream. She added and walked towards the coffee shop. A few minutes later, she came back to her friends with an ice cream cup on her hands. You seem to be starving, Brandon said, startled, looking at Isabel and the way she was devouring her ice cream. I know. For some reason, I awoke today feeling really hungry, Isabel said. She was wearing skinny jeans and a white t shirt showing her beautiful, slender figure discreetly, and Brandon was watching her in case she spilled some ice cream on her top. Half an hour later, Brandon and Victoria kept looking for the perfect dress without success. Isabel was bored to death. She decided to read an interesting magazine she found about science instead of falling asleep. Almost an hour later, Victoria came to Isabel with another dress and she liked this one a lot. I think this one is the keeper, Victoria excitedly said to Isabel. I love it too. You look stunning, Isabel said, feeling pleased. It was a beautiful black lawn dress, elegant and discreet. Victoria decided to be more conservative this time, but she was definitely having a hard time finding the right dress to support that decision. You see, you can look amazing on anything you decide to wear. It doesn't need to be slutty all the time, Isabel said, smiling and winking her eye. All right, I guess this is the one. Now I need shoes, Victoria said. Brandon is already looking for the right shoes. He's so nice. Pity he's gay because he could be the perfect guy for me. He likes fashion, is handsome, and he loves my girly moves. She added, sighing. I'm not sure you will be comfortable being with a guy that likes fashion more than you, Isabel said, joking. Brandon came back and found Isabel and Victoria laughing. He knew it was another joke about him. Okay, what is it this time? He asked. Victoria said you could be the perfect husband if you were not gay, Isabel said. The horror! I couldn't live with this woman in the same house for more than 24 hours. She will drive me mad. Too perfectionist and crazy pants for my taste, Brandon said. Okay, let's just go and find those shoes, Victoria said, holding Brandon's arm and starting to walk. Isabel knew that looking for the right shoes meant another hour of waiting. She glanced at her magazine again and wished it was longer and with more content. Okay, I will wait here, Isabel said to herself and sat on the comfortable chair located near the coffee shop. From the distance, someone was looking carefully. Nature is always evolving. If people contributed more to science, this world would be a whole different place, a male voice said. I beg your pardon? Isabel asked. I am sorry to interrupt. You seemed so interested in your science magazine that I felt the need to say that to you, the guy said. Isabel was overwhelmed by how handsome this guy was. He was very tall, even taller than her, dressing on jeans and a blazer. His eyes were dark and deep, and his face perfect with his long dark hair. He looked smart and very polite. The guy seemed older than Isabel, and she had a feeling she knew him from somewhere. He signaled a chair on her side to ask if he could sit there. May I sit with you and give you some company for a few minutes? That way you won't have to read that magazine twice, he said, smiling. His voice sounded as a melody to her, and she couldn't refuse. Yes, of course. I guess there is no harm for two strangers to talk about science after all, she said. Let me introduce myself. I am Alex Cavendish, he said. You see, not a stranger anymore, he added, winking his eye. I am Isabel Hearn. It is nice meeting you too, she said and extended her hand to shake his hand. Alex felt electricity flowing throughout his body at the touch of her skin. To be able to touch her after so long and to actually feel her warm skin, there was nothing like it for him. He could feel his heartbeat going so fast that perhaps she could even hear it. He felt nervous like a young boy for the first time. She was there in front of him after all this time. Such proximity, very close, but he couldn't touch her or kiss her because she didn't know who he was. She had given up her memories and experiences to trade them to Kronos for him. He needed to remain strong and wait for Orpheus to complete the bridge she started. He felt destiny was unfair and cruel to them. They had given up so much to be together, and still far apart. He thought he lost everything when she took the golden sleep. He even considered going back to Gaia just to be found and killed, but he needed to respect her plan. It was just going to take more time, and he planned to spend it near her. After all, she was the love of his life, and he was willing to wait. It was impossible to be in this world and not being near her, and now she was so close. He could feel her smell, her breath. Her skin looked perfect and soft, and he just wanted to kiss her non-stop, but he had to wait. She could think he was a freak. Patience was now his biggest torment and asset. Do you live here in London? Isabel asked, a bit stunned for what she also felt when their hands touched. Yes, just near here in Kensington. It is a nice area, convenient, and close to the most important things. You can walk and be anywhere in minutes, he said. And what about you, Isabel? Do you live near? He asked. I also live in Kensington. That's interesting, she said. Yes, we are neighbors, Alex said. I live in the area, but do not get to see many people as I rarely go out. I am usually with friends and we do our own thing. But even if I went out, I think I would remember your face. Somehow you look very familiar to me, Isabel said. I just came back from a long trip to India, Alex said. My parents and I love India, Isabel said. Have you been there? Alex asked. Yes, with my parents a few times. They keep telling me I was conceived on a nice area called Sikkim, but I haven't been there yet, or at least I don't remember it. Isabel said, trying to figure why she was not sure if she had been there before or not. It is indeed a beautiful area of India, Alex said. Nice. I might go someday, Isabel said. I might take you, Alex said jokingly. Do you work here in London or still studying? Isabel asked, trying to ignore the fact that he was also cute and straightforward. I work with the family business here in England and abroad. I already finished my studies, Alex said. You must have graduated very young, because you still look young to me, Isabel said. Actually, Zagros had been on every possible top university on Earth in his past lifetimes, and he found Earth's education to be very effective, judging by the fact that back in Gaia he learned mostly the arts of battle and ancient history. There was something about education on Earth that he found to be fascinating. Well, a cover is not the book, Alex said jokingly. That is true, Isabel said. I finished my studies abroad. I will not go to university, he said. Really? Don't tell me you are one of those rich guys who think university is just a waste of time because you have plenty of money or live your life without an education, Isabel said, glancing at her magazine. Oh no, I am not. But I have other very important things to do now. Family affairs that are requiring my time and attention, he said, getting Isabel's attention back. I am sorry if I criticized you too prematurely. I am sure you know what you're doing, she said, ashamed. Someone very important to me has lost her memory, and I will help her get it back. That might take a few years, he said, and his face looked sad. I am sorry to hear that. There are some medical advances going on recently to improve memory loss. Perhaps one or some of them can be beneficial, Isabel said. You are so kind. Thank you. Currently, I have a team with the best specialists working on it. I'm sure they will find a way, Alex said. And what about you? Are you going to university? He asked. Yes, I just got admitted to med school. I want to become a doctor, a good one. Medicine is a subject I feel passionate about, she said. All the thousands of years Zagreus had met Makala, she had never expressed or showed any curiosity to study medicine. Instead, she used to believe the mind could cure most diseases. But it was the first time he heard Makala said medicine was a passion for her. He wondered if that had something to do with any event in particular, because it had nothing to do with the plan they made together for her current lifetime. That's so nice. And when did you discover your passion for medicine? He asked. Since I was a little baby, I think. I used to play doctor and that I could help people to find cures of diseases. This planet needs pioneers and people who really care about others. We have been taking so much and giving so little back. It's time for a change, and I'm determined to be part of that change, she said. Wow, that's remarkable. I am proud of your values. You are still a young lady and your determination is amazing. Well done. I'm sure your parents are happy and proud of you, he said. Oh, yes, they are for sure, she said. Alex was going to say something else when a female voice approached them and interrupted the conversation. Isabel, your mom just phoned and asked me to get you a fabulous dress for the gala. And you also need someone to go with, as I am going with Brandon now, and Victoria was saying, and then stopped when she found Isabel talking to a very sexy guy who seemed to be very much into her. Victoria, let me introduce you to Alex Cavendish. We just met while I was here waiting for you. He has been kind enough to keep me company during these last minutes, Isabel said. Nice to meet you, Alex, Victoria said. This is our friend Brandon, she said, signaling to Brandon, who was literally staring mouth open at Alex. Hi, Brandon said. Nice to meet you, Brandon, Alex said politely. Are you from the area? Victoria asked. Yes, I live here in Kensington, Alex answered. I am sorry for the interruption. I can see you two were having an interesting conversation, but I panicked after your mom's call. If I am choosing your dress, I need to find something gorgeous for you, Victoria said. You can choose anything. I'm not really in the mood to be trying on dresses, Isabel said. All right, I will choose one and hope you like it, Victoria said, sighing. Judging by the dress you are already wearing, I am sure you will choose the right one for her, Alex said, looking at Victoria. Victoria felt over the moon with the comment. She liked him already. He was gorgeous and could detect a person with a great taste in fashion. She felt proud. Thanks, Alex. It is good to be appreciated sometimes, Victoria said. Appreciated? You moron, I have been telling you about your great sense of fashion all afternoon and you didn't feel that way, Brandon said to Victoria. Because you are always with me, it's good to get some external appreciation, Victoria said proudly. You mean to get appreciated by a very hot guy, Brandon said. Isabel knew Victoria and Brandon were always arguing when they were out shopping, but they couldn't live without each other. She loved them, but right now their argument was embarrassing. Okay, you two go and find me the best dress and shoes, please, and stop arguing, Isabel said to them. They left still arguing about matching a black dress with black shoes or blue ones. Isabel and Alex were left alone again. I'm sorry about that. My friends are always behaving that way, but I love them, Isabel said. No worries. They are really nice and seem to be genuine, Alex said. Yes, they are, Isabel said. As I heard, you need a partner for the gala. If you don't have anybody to go with, I would love to take you, Alex said. Really? But we have just met, Isabel said. That is true. It means we are going to need a proper second meeting to be able to say we know each other better, Alex said. That's funny. But yes, it might work, Isabel said. What if I invite you and your friends for breakfast or lunch tomorrow? Will that work? Alex asked. I think it might, Isabel said. Okay, let's do something. Talk to your friends, and this is my number. You can contact me there and let me know if you can make it. After our second meeting, you can decide if you would like me to take you to the gala, Alex said. Alex handed Isabel a card with his name and phone number written in gold. She took the card and saved it on her purse. They kept looking at each other's eyes in a way that they both wanted to devour their lips. Alex felt he wanted to kiss Isabel, but she might get upset. So he stopped his thoughts and instead said, It has been a real pleasure to meet you, and I am looking forward to your call. It will be nice to see you tomorrow. Isabel felt she wanted to kiss him so badly. Something inside of her was shouting her to touch him, to feel his lips, but it was too premature. He might think she was crazy. She wanted to tell him to go together to the gala without any need of a second meeting, but he was also crazy. She just wanted to be with him. Then she said, It has been a pleasure to meet you too. I will talk to my friends and let you know. Alice left and Isabel was literally speechless. She just met the most gorgeous guy and he wanted to see her again. He found her in the corner where she was hiding to get out of the crowd and avoid seeing any more dresses or shoes. You have so much to explain, lady, Victoria exclaimed, coming towards Isabel. Oh my God, I felt I was going to faint. That guy is really hot, Isabel. Too hot, I will say. A hot underwear model, Brandon said. How did you meet him? What were you doing? Victoria asked her. I was seated here in this same chair trying to read my magazine while you tried dress number 300 and he approached me, Isabel said. He found you hidden behind this pile of clothes? Victoria asked, looking around surprised. Well, this is near the coffee shop. But yes, I was here, Isabel said, startled. All right. And what happened? Did he ask for your number? Victoria asked. He wants to take us all for breakfast or lunch tomorrow. That way we can meet for the second time. And I will tell him if he can be my plus one to the gala tomorrow night. Then I won't go with someone I have just met, Isabel said, smiling. That's so funny. He wants you to go to the gala with him, and you want a second date first. That is a really good idea, Victoria said. It is not a second date. It is a second meeting, Isabel corrected. All right, let's go with you to your second meeting. He seems like a really nice guy. Brandon, we are going tomorrow, Victoria said to Brandon. Great. Count me in for your next meeting, Brandon said while looking at a nice black leather jacket on his hands. Victoria and Brandon found Isabel a beautiful dress for her to wear to the gala, and Isabel insisted she had the perfect shoes for it. It was a lovely white lawn dress. Isabel didn't try it on, but she was sure it was going to fit. She felt grateful to have two good friends in her life who could happily take care of all the matters she didn't care about, like fashion.